Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a day in the market and a whole bunch of red, but don't worry because it's recovering right now as I'm recording this. We just had a cybersecurity stock report. It's up 18%, still climbing. So, of course, tomorrow, most likely, if that holds, it will pull a lot of tech stocks back up. So, I know the bear channels are going to be out in full force saying 20% crash has started. Okay, but again, on this channel, we like to keep things in perspective. Understand what's happening here, okay? Because you had your generals being taken out back and obviously treated badly today. So, we talked about yesterday, was it just those three stocks yesterday, Tesla, Google, and Apple, or was the disease going to spread? Was it a one-day event off some news or multiple days? So far, we've had 2 days, right, to really look at this. And so when we look at it, what's happening, right? Again, you have China, a major problem, okay? Their economy sucks. And so they're weighing down on any companies that have a lot of exposure. So now iPhone sales go down 24% year over year here in the first 6 weeks of 2024. So, of course, people freaked out. And, of course, Apple goes down. The craziest part to me was NEO reported earnings, terrible earnings. It was green today. Not really sure how that happened. Again, we keep perspective, right? So understand when your fear and greed index is at extreme greed, almost 80, right? You're going to have some volatility happening here, some swings back and forth. Where are we at? As far as the presidential race is concerned, seasonality, we are in that time frame. Will we get it? We'll have to see. But if you look at this, it's not a major pullback, okay? Not a major pullback. And to keep things in perspective, where does the market go? Especially during presidential election years, it goes up most of the time. So just keep that in mind. What is moving the market, or where's money been going, right? You look at this right here, it's pretty obvious, and I'm sure you would agree with this. Okay, this is the S&P 500 factor indices, S&P 500 momentum, winning by a country mile, pure growth, looking good. S&P 500 growth, looking good. What's at the bottom, right? Low volatility, high dividends, pure value. That's the stuff that's not really moving the market. Okay, you look over there at the global factor indices, top 5 outperformers, and you can see it, momentum, growth. Large market caps, okay? That's where money has been heading to, all right? You can see it right here in the weekly flows. Look at this, not even close. The large caps, 8.1 billion in a week. Nothing else even comes close to that, all right? So still putting it in the large caps, and so that's not a surprise, okay? And again, why? Because they are the stalwarts, no matter what you think. We're not talking about just the ones you're thinking of. I'm talking about there's many large caps out there. We just talk about the Mag 7. There's many large caps that have been moving up. This, of course, is why you see what are the big agencies saying, the biggest funds and stuff saying about the S&P 500. Most of them are 5,100 or above at least. Some of them are much higher than that, okay? It is not a straight line. There's going to be pullbacks all over the place throughout this year. There's going to be plenty of volatility and all that good stuff. No doubt about it. And of course, things you can't predict happening. But usually, so these now will show at the end of the year, especially in the fourth quarter, you get nice moves up. Now, there's a phrase I'm going to use. If you do not know it, I want you to go stand in front of a mirror tonight for 5 minutes and just repeat. Or if you have a blackboard, you can write it out 100 times like we used to do in school. Profit taking is not a bad thing. Okay? Look at this. Look at what you're seeing. You have NVIDIA. Look at that chart. That is not normal. And so you have hedge funds up there. They're going, wow, this thing is up 76% in 57 days. So what do? They take some off. They don't close out the position. They just take some off. That's what they do, and they rotate it into something else. Look at SMCI. Look at this one, Super Microcomputers. This thing is up a whopping, or was up a whopping 232% in 45 days. So they took some off. All right, traders are still having fun with this one, playing the calls. Usually the 1,400 calls, I think, were popular today, or 1,500. AMD, look at this thing on the gamma squeeze over the last few days. All of a sudden, went from being constructive to gamma squeezing up 20% in 4 days, which is a lot for AMD. That is not normal for this stock. You take profits, they rotate into something else or wait for it to pull back and plow the money back in at a lower rate. My favorite, Abercrombie & Fitch. This is a clothing company. I showed you probably last week why this has happened, okay? And I love when people make money. I think it's great. A clothing company is up 523% in, what is that, roughly 9 months or something like that, in less than a year, okay? That's not normal. if you look at the chart to the left of this thing and pull out an Abercrombie & Fitch long-term chart, that's not normal for this stock at all. They must be making some great shirts, by the way. Just look to the left, okay? Not normal. This stock is an earnings deal. The funny thing is, you don't even see a gap, do you? That's why I'm not showing you what this stock is. I own this stock, but look, it actually dipped down on earnings, but had really good earnings and then moved up. So it didn't even leave a gap, right? You go to the shorter term time frames on it. So this is a little different, right? This is not some, you got short sellers getting crushed, that's for sure, no doubt about it. But you can see it moved up. They took profits, set another support, moved up, took profits. And so that's where this one's at. That's a little different, but still it's profit taking because this thing is up from the 40s into the 80s in a very short amount of time, okay? And so hear me when I say this clearly. Please hit that thumbs up because it helps people find this video. And if you like financial content where somebody does not try to make themselves seem smarter than they are and talk over your head, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. All right, moving on. That profit taking is not a bad thing. This is what they do because if you notice today, if you saw just the indexes, you would have thought everything was red. But you know what? When you look through it, regional banks, extremely green. Travel, Airbnb, a lot of the airlines, hotels, green, right? Energy stocks, oil stocks, green, okay? And so there were things that were green. Walmart, Target, for God's sake, even FedEx was green. Dollar General, Dollar Tree, green. All right, so there were things that were green today. Some of them up very big, actually. And so there was money going into that kind of stuff. And so, again, but tech is what? It's run up so much. Same way Bitcoin hit like a new all-time high, and it sold off very quickly, right? Started to recover, but it sold off very quickly. Yes, profit taking. That's what happens, right? That's what happens. It's okay. It's up huge, right? These miners that are getting killed right now, they were up crazy 100, 200%. Like, yes, that's what happens. It's okay. All right, it's okay. Not a big deal. Again, stand in the mirror, say it to yourself 500 times, write it on a blackboard, have your children write it out too, so they understand in life not to sit there and be up 300% in something and go, I'm not taking a penny out. And then when it drops 25, 50%, they go, ooh, yeah, you wish you would have taken some profits, but that's okay. It's okay. And again, stand in front of the mirror and say, it is not normal for a stock to go up 300% in less than 3 months. Usually not even a year. But, you know, again, we're in a different kind of market. I get that. But it is okay to take the proceeds and put it into something else or wait for that same stock to pull back and then put it back in. It's okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. That's what pullbacks are all about. Now, and again, what we have to see is, because we've seen this movie many times, right? Do we get a 3 to 5% pullback? Right? Maybe we do. But we've also seen these head fakes many times, right? And all of a sudden the earnings will come out. Jerome Powell, who speaks tomorrow, will come out and say something, and the market goes, we're off to the races once again, right? So that's what I'm saying. I just did a members video on this, but the levels you got to watch for, what I'm looking for to see if this is a trend reversal or not. That's what you got to look for. It's called MSS, Market Structure Shift. That's what you're looking for. Now, speaking of stocks who actually weigh a lot in the indexes, you know, you're looking at the big boys, right? Google, what are you looking for? As long as 127.80 somewhere in there holds, everything's good, right? It's not going to weigh it down that much more. And when you look at Apple, again, people love to come in on the 166 on this one. And I'm kind of glad to see the market selling off some with Apple being weak, so that's good. It means it hadn't been totally replaced. But again, when you pull up the volume profile on this thing, you can see 166, 167, right? As long as it don't go below that, everything's good. Drops below that, well, might have a lot more pain in store, right? You go over to Microsoft. This one right here is sitting at the bottom of this channel. Will it bounce for I think the 5th time? That's what we got to find out, right? It's in one of those interesting situations. If it breaks that channel, you can see, because it's way up there in no man's land, the clouds right here, it could definitely drop farther for sure. But you see there's also that 50, which is bounced off of 3 times, moving up in this channel. So, might have a little more pain in store. If it breaks the 50, it's got a lot more pain in store, which means the market will definitely come down some more. There's no doubt about that. AMD, obviously we talked about this one. It's on a gamma squeeze, right? And so you're just looking at that previous all-time high right there, that level before the gamma squeeze. That's where I'd look for it to be retested at. Again, that's not a huge drop down, and semiconductors are on fire, right? And so, somewhere, as long as it doesn't break like 185 right there, I mean, you're good. I mean, it'd be good for it to come down to a healthy bounce right there, clear up those fair value gaps and everything else. AMD, again, has hit the top of this channel multiple times. That's where it started selling off some. And after earnings, it normally does that. Not a surprise, but I'm just marking out 773, 775, somewhere in there to say, that'd be a great, nice pullback. Help the market move down, that's for sure. But, it's just something we're going to have to wait and see if that's what the case is, because as I speak now, they're running SMCI up again. NVIDIA, things running after hours. So, again, we've seen this movie, right? Tesla, of course, this one right here is a hot mess. Once it broke that trend line right there, I mean, it's falling big time. But, again, they keep saving it. It comes down below a certain kind of level. They push it right back up. And so now it's in that area where it was support for quite a few weeks going back into January. So we'll see if this is going to continue to actually move up, or is it going to continue to move down? Okay, and that's really the big thing. And then this is China, right? China's the one affecting this one. China's affecting Apple right now. Those are news events. Will the market shake it off or continue to punish it? That's really the big case. As long as you're not breaking 175, you're pretty good. If you break 175, you're looking between like 152, 155, somewhere in there for support, if that is the case, okay? You can pull up your volume profile on this one, same thing, just kind of look at that, kind of matches up. So pay close attention to those levels. You would think after these kind of sell-offs, we normally get a bounce back, at least for a day or two. And also you have this trend line right here, right? This channel, this downward channel has been in for quite a while now. So, and that lines up, probably 168 before it breaks that, depending on when it hits it. If it keeps trailing down, you can get in the 150s again. That's definitely the next major support if you break those other ones. Now, before anybody asks me about SoFi, huge red day today. This one's just been a mess. And what happened was they issued, this is what's supposed to happen when you issue debt like this, $750 million in convertible senior notes. And so the market does not like that, because these can be converted into shares if they choose to. And so when a company takes on debt, that's what's supposed to happen. But some of these other crazy stocks have been running up. They issue debt and the stock still goes up, which is amazing to me. Now, you look at this one again, we've talked about this. This one cannot get out of its own way. It's now falling out of that little area right there. It was squeezing. Well, it squeezed down. So that's the way it ended up going. It cannot get into a stage 2. It's just a mess. So we'll see if this one continues to drop or not. Looking at around 651 for support on that one. If that breaks, then oh boy, watch out down below. Now, earnings tomorrow. Going to have JD.com, my favorite, Abercrombie & Fitch right there, Foot Locker, EveGo, Victoria's Secret. So a lot of stuff to do with shoppers and things of that nature is what you're going to see. Nothing real major. But then economically, oh yes, we're going to have Jerome Powell speaking at 10 a.m. ADP comes out at 8:15. JOLTS comes out at 10. So 2 different job reports that are normally on different days. I can't remember the last time they were on the same day. We usually get a drop. I believe it was on ADP, and then maybe a bump up on JOLTS, or however, vice versa, because they never correlate with each other, right? They're always like opposites. People go, oh, look at that right there. And so, but I think more importantly, it's going to be Jerome Powell. And it doesn't matter what he says. The market's just going to hear whatever they want to hear. So that's what you can see this drop being, right? It was just preparing for Jerome Powell, just in case he says the same thing in his testimony that he has said for the last 2 speeches, which is pretty much what he's going to do. But the market's going to hear what it wants to hear. And so we'll see. I tell everybody, just watch that 21 EMA, see if that breaks, pull it up on your chart, and then see if that channel breaks after that. That's what I will be looking for. That's what I told the members. But again, this could be a total head fake, and away we go, right? So watch the semis, watch all the big dogs, see if they recover tomorrow. Microsoft bouncing off that channel. See if Apple finally starts to get some love, and see if call buyers start swooping in. Okay, that's the big thing to watch. So again, just keep everything in perspective. Take a longer view out. Pull the daily and weekly charts up. All that good stuff, and look for market structure shift, MSS. If you don't know what it is, look it up. All right. So anyway, hope you guys got something out of it. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.